Hi there, Lorena Seidel here, and welcome to this Joyful Parenting in 5 Days challenge. You are learning how to really create a home that's happy and peaceful for your children without punishing and without being a pushover. And today you're going to learn how to be kind and firm at the same time all the time. What you may be experiencing is that you start out the day being really nice, really calm and patient, until your children are walking all over you, they're not listening, they're not cooperating, things are chaotic and out of control, and you can't stand them anymore. So you lay down the law and you yell, you threaten, you punish, and then you feel horrible because you don't want to be the kind of parent. And then you feel guilty and you go back to being really nice again. So you do what I call the nice and nasty dance all day long, back and forth. So you go from too permissive to too authoritarian, too permissive to too authoritarian all day long. Or you maybe experience that one parent is too firm and the other parent is too kind. So here I'm in the kind side and my husband's on the firm side, and every time he sees me being too wishy-washy and permissive with the girls, he firms things up to compensate for my lack of firmness. And then every time I see him being too strict and tough and rough with the girls, I feel badly for them and I soften it up to make up for his firmness. And that pulls us apart. And when that happens, our children experience the inconsistency, the mixed messages, and then they are disoriented. And it puts us, the parents, in a position where we're not a united front. And the children can play us along. And overall, it's just a negative family dynamic. So what we want is to stop this lack of kind and firmness. And we want to find that happy, sweet spot of being kind and firm at the same time all the time. Kim Jong-Pang, the author of Simplicity Parenting, he talks about how he's never met a disobedient child. He's met disoriented children. So not disobedient children, but disoriented children. And when we are not setting those clear limits and boundaries, we're not being kind and firm, and our children are disoriented, and that shows in their behavior. So imagine that you're in the dark and you can't see or hear anything. Our first instinct is to look for something we can hold on to, for a door, a knob, a window, a wall, something can guide us. If we don't find that, we feel nervous and scared and anxious and afraid and frustrated. And that's what our children feel when they're pushing the limits, they're trying things, testing, pushing our buttons, and they're not getting that clear, healthy boundary or limit. They keep going and pushing and pushing and pushing, and they escalate and they go down that misbehaving path so far looking for that boundary. And when they actually get that, it feels safe, it feels good, it feels right. It helps them, feel that sense of orientation. And so that's what we want to do. We want to set those healthy, kind and firm boundaries and limits for our children. And when you're thinking of kind and firm, you want to think that the kind piece is respectful to the child. It's respectful, validating the child's feelings and needs. And then the firm piece is being respectful to you and to the situation. So if you're not feeling respected, you're not being kind and firm at the same time. If you are yelling, you are not being kind and firm at the same time. I usually tell moms, if you had to yell, you've let it go too far. You should have put that boundary a half an hour ago, or yesterday, or last week, and then right now, you wouldn't be experiencing the yelling or the frustration. What we do is we let things build up until we can't take it anymore. So you're going to become aware of this, and you're going to start to be able to see it coming a mile away, and you know you're going to lose it, but then you can set a boundary before it happens. So what I want you to do for today, so the action for today, is for you to try to change the way you communicate with your children and stop communicating from a permissive and authoritarian state of mind, or from that kind of parenting, and do this mind shift to communicate from a kind and firm place. Okay, so this is what I mean by communicating in a kind and firm style. So the kind is the validating statement, and the firm is the limit and the boundary that you're setting. So you'd say something, I can see that you're having fun and it's time to clean up now. What we usually do is we say, but. We say, you were having so much fun, but it's time to clean up now. And when we say but, we erase everything that came before that but, and we lose value of all of that. It's like someone apologizing to you and saying, I'm sorry, but, right? It's not, I'm sorry. So when you do use the and statement, so the first piece, everything that comes before the and is your kind statement, and everything that goes behind the and after that is your firm. And of course, depending on the age of your children, this is going to look different. So what I want for you to do today, the action for today, is for you to have a conversation with your children, bring them all around, and talk about what are the areas where you're experiencing some breakdowns in kind and firmness, and what are some of your pain points in your home. For us, it's around cleaning up. That's usually when I lose my cool and things, we experience a breakdown. But for you, it could be around, TV and media and screens. Did you feel like you're not setting limits and boundaries? Or maybe it's a bad time, you get hassles, or in the morning, or during meals. So I don't know what it is that you are experiencing, but you would sit with your children and you would come up with a list and then come up with the kind of firm statements for those things. So maybe is, I can see that you want to watch another show and it's bedtime now. Or I can see that you don't want to eat and you need to sit with us at the table until dinner's over. Or I can see you want to eat all over the house and we sit at the table to eat. Or I can see you want to be chatting and talking to your friends and texting, and it's time for you to put the phone down because we're having a family time together. So whatever it is, I can see that you want to be out with your friends and it's a school night. So just practice those statements and start saying the and instead of the but. So go ahead, give this a go today. And I'd love to hear your insights. So share them with me and with other parents in the Facebook group. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.